Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Woven Record. My name is Mike Lagerquist.
And I'm Becky True.
And we've got a couple more stories to share with you. The theme for today is really a sense of community and how these small businesses lend themselves to the building of the community in certain areas and in a certain community.
Yeah, we're going to talk about two small business owners. One of them has been in business. One of the businesses is 108 years old, and the other one's a year old.
Yeah, he hasn't been around the whole 108.
Yeah.
He's like the third generation, I think, isn't he?
Third, yeah.
Third or fourth, yeah. So George will be talking to us about groceries, but first we've got Ryan with the
NP Junction Bookstore.
NP Junction Bookstore in Carlton, Minnesota, which is just off of I-35, a little ways south of Duluth. And you and Jane were there.
Right. And the thing about NP Junction Bookstore, the NP Junction is what Carlton's first name was. The name of this town of Carlton was called NP Junction because the Northern Pacific Railroad started there.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, an NP.
Yeah.
That would do it. So many times these small businesses are built on some sort of tradition or history. So it's great when you go in there, you're not only getting what you need, but you're also going to get a chance to converse and find out about all of these things, because most of them have owners who are more than willing to tell you that kind of thing. And that's what adds to the sense of community that you'll find there.
Yeah, I think you find that these small business owners are very proud of their community, very proud of their towns. They contribute to their community. In fact, both of our business owners' parents, one of the parents of each of the business owners was mayor of their city.
That's right. So they've got extra reason to want to provide what you need when you go there, but it's all in their genes. It's kind of like George grew up in that store.
Right.
So he knows nothing more other than to cater to people's needs really well. And Ryan, who is also a school teacher, does that very well also.
Yep. So how about we listen to the interview with Ryan from
right.
NP Junction Bookstore.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm Ryan Schmidt. I'm a high school teacher here in Carlton at the high school, and also the owner of this bookstore.
So what led you to be both a teacher and a bookstore owner?
Well, the teaching came first,
Uh-huh.
and I don't remember exactly. Somewhere along in my career, I'm about 20 years in now, the idea came into my head that, as a retirement thing, a bookstore would be kind of fun to run. It'd be, of course, I pictured it as just reading books all day, and this is going to be great, and it doesn't quite work out like that, but that was the idea, was that it would be a retirement thing. And my dad got sick, and he knew that was kind of my dream in the future. And he said that why wait until you retire? And so when he passed away, he left some money for me, and we were able to open the store with that. And this is kind of his legacy too. So.
That's awesome to honor your dad like that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. How long have you had the bookstore then?
So we were a year old in July.
Oh, wow.
So,
You're still new.
We're past a year, but we're pretty new. Yeah, we still get people every day who are like, we didn't even know you were here.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a great location, and the building has a great story.
Yes. This is a bank from the original town of Carlton, which was actually called NP Junction, or Northern Pacific Junction. This is where the Northern Pacific Railroad began when they built it. And so, it's been through many different iterations, but it was always a bank until about 10 or 12 years ago, when the bank closed down and the building sat vacant for a while. And then the opportunity came up to the salon went in next door first, and then this space was open, and the rest is history. Here we are.
So you were teaching all those years and seeing this bank building empty and thinking it was a good place for a bookstore?
It was. I mean, this was, when I thought about a bookstore, this was the spot. And I had ideas about, we have the vault, and here's something we could do with that, and we want a fireplace in the back. And, but it was always kind of just a dream until, we had the resources to do it. And then it was just kind of, let's take the plunge. We need to do this.
Right.
And like I said, my son manages the store. Obviously, I'm teaching during the day, and so he had just finished college, and it was like kind of the perfect timing. And he lives just behind here, by about 2 blocks away, and so it worked out very nicely for us.
So one of the things we're trying to do here at the Woven Record is really help rebuild community, the sense of community with people through telling people stories like yours, telling stories of teachers and small business owners and others in the community, and you're two of those. So can you talk a little bit about the community and the role that you play in the community and the bookstore plays in the community?
Sure. Yeah. So, I've lived here almost my whole life. And I loved growing up here. It was a great place to go to school. And so I made the decision I have 5 kids, and we made the decision to raise them here and to live in Carlton. It's a great little town. We're right on the edge of, the gateway to Jay Cook State Park. You can walk for 5 minutes and you're in the middle of nowhere, but you can also drive to Duluth in less than a half an hour. As far as the community goes, I've loved it here. I have served as a school board member when I wasn't teaching, as a city councilor for 2 terms. My mom was the mayor for 20 years or so. And so just as a family, that community has always been really important. As far as the bookstore goes, that was, part of the idea was to be a kind of a central spot for the community. We have a meeting room in the back where we have history groups. We had just tonight, the Carlton County Women's History Group met back there. We have book clubs that meet back there. Our high school just started a book club, and they used it for their last meeting. And so it's starting to kind of gain momentum as a gathering spot, along with a couple of the other businesses in town here. And we're really working hard to kind of revitalize our downtown too. So this is kind of a cool project. It kind of fits right in with what we're doing too.
Right. Yeah. Do you have a favorite book that you would recommend?
Oh boy. Well, my number one book that I always recommend to people is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle.
Wow.
It's kind of a combination between like Agatha Christie and Quantum Leap and Black Mirror all rolled into one.
Wow.
It's a very neat book. Now, my number one all-time favorite book is Watership Down. But yeah, when people are asking about something that's a little more current and would be interesting, that's my pick. That's
okay, well, you carry that book, so we can get it from you, right?
I don't know if we have a copy right now. I'll have to check when I go over there. Because I recommend it all the time.
Right.
But yes, we can order them, and if there's not one, it'll be on order, because I always make sure we have at least 1 or 2 around. So
that's awesome. You want to tell us about the vault thing?
Sure. Well, even before I owned the building, I had the store. I knew I had banked here in the past, so I knew that the vault was here. This was actually where all of the safe deposit boxes were. And I wasn't sure what genre would be in there, but it always, we had kind of some thoughts when I talked with my son and stuff about it, that maybe that's where we keep like the mystery novels, because they're, and it just, size-wise, and just thinking about kids being kind of excited about going into a space like that. As long as we were sure we could secure the doors.
Right.
The joke is, if the kids are acting up, we'll just close the door on them. But we haven't done that yet, and we won't. So, but yeah, it was just, it was a feature that couldn't be removed. There was no way it was going to be removed. So it was always kind of, what are we going to do with that vault to make it kind of a fun spot? And this is what we came up with.
Yeah, so it's for kids.
It's the kids section.
Look at these chairs.
Yes, my mom is an antiquer, so she has pretty much outfitted us with all the cool
little rocking chairs.
The cool furniture in here is mostly my mom's doing.
Oh, I bet kids love this.
Oh yeah, this is a fun place to come in and hang out. get a chance to maybe look at their first readers down there, or we have more of the graphic novels and stuff for the little bit older kids. That's awesome.
All right. Well, one of those things that a community needs is a bookstore.
Sure
You know,
do.
that's that place where people can come together and gather. They can run across folks that they don't see all the time, or you can plan to hold a meeting down there or something. But when you go to Mocols grocery store in Mankato, which is just a couple of blocks from your house, you are probably going to meet next door neighbors or somebody from across the street. They'll be there talking to George, or who did he say the other, Dave
And Greg.
and Greg, and you will find out what's going on in your neighborhood. You'll find out what's going on in your community as well. And it's not in a nosy kind of way, but it's really just a way to support what's going on in your town and get to know everybody.
Yeah, Mocols is I kind of think of it like Cheers often when I go in there. No alcohol, but just the community and that kind of camaraderie that you have with your neighbors and the Mocols boys.
Yeah, and one of the great things about the Mocols, and all small grocery stores like that have a specialty. They have got great meats in the back. It's fresh cut right on.
Yep.
Right on the location, and you go in there. I went in there after we talked and got a nice steak and cooked that up in my air fryer. And those kinds of things are what make those so invaluable. It actually is what used to drive the neighborhood grocery store back in history, when there was one on almost every corner. Because you would go there, you'd run into the neighbors, and you'd get your groceries for the night. There wasn't always a lot of frozen food in the fridge or the freezer. You would go there each day and buy your fresh food to fix for your family.
Right. So how about we watch that interview?
I think that's a good thing to do right now.
Let's start from the beginning, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Our grandfather came here. My grandfather came here, and he was Syrian, Lebanese. So he came here in 1914 to the United States. Gosh. And he always enjoyed, he was just a kid at that time. I think he was probably 15, 16 years old, which is something happened on the boat and leaving the family and all that. And I think he came, first of all, I think he went out to South Dakota, and he got to selling things on a wagon, like he sold overalls and boots and things like that to different farms and stuff. And he did that for a couple years. And then when that was all over, he got a little tired of that. And then he wanted, got to find a permanent spot. And so he came actually in this spot right here. And it started out kind of, I think he came to Mankato just because there were other Lebanese here. And they all grouped together, and they, worked on the language a little. And he always enjoyed selling things. That's all I ever heard. And I remember him. He loved the sale. He loved the deal, And he actually got into wholesaling. He did that. And he could really move and shake things, He took loads of eggs out to Chicago and wholesaled them, and he had a lot of ties to a lot of farmers, and it was just one of those things. He was real easy to get along with, and they trusted him, and he trusted them, and he enjoyed it all. And I think you got to like what you're doing, otherwise you're not going to be successful at it, and you're going to be miserable all your life. But he just really liked it, and he, things went on, and he brought other members of his family came here, and he ended up here on this corner. And this was kind of, and I don't exactly know how that actually happened, but he wanted a permanent place. And this was at that time was kind of on the edge of town a little, and you didn't have the hilltop area. You didn't have the, it was just the valley basically was all it was. And it's a little off the beaten track, but farmers found him. They enjoyed him, and he was able to, speak a few different languages at the time. He picked that up, and it was all, there was no formal education to speak of. He just, he just went out and did that, and he really liked that a lot. And he was able to, if a Lebanese guy would come in or a Syrian guy had come in, and he could obviously speak Arabic really good, And if there were Norwegians, he learned a little of that. And if he learned a little Swedish, he would learn that. And German, he was good at that. And so he would go on and on and on with that. And he really enjoyed that. And it was just the people thing that really got him fired up. And he was really successful. He did really well with that. I mean, he worked on a few different things. And yeah, he just kept going on and on. But he had a great life. And it was just, you know, I think the older kids in our family, he taught us an awful lot. You know, he just tried to get along with people and you know. But he was very successful in what he did. And after a while, you know, that the competition would start. Mankato was starting to get a little bigger all the time, and competition would start coming up. But he did, during the World War II, he did really well. I mean, he had, I don't know how many employees he had around, but he had a lot. And during World War II, you know, they had rationing and things like that. And he was able to navigate that pretty well. And then after the war and things like that, then Mankato was starting to get bigger, and competition started moving in. We had a store he had another store in the 50s down at 915 South Front Street, and we down there. And so he had another store there. He had his brother-in-law was in Fairmont, and they had a store down there. So that if you see our calendar, it says Fairmont on there, and that's where that came from. But so he kind of set that up for him. The business, it was good. And then, you know, like I said, competition started moving in, things changed. Retail is always, it's forever changing. It's changing today, it changes forever. And then after that, you know, we did our thing here. We kind of tightened our belts up here, and to this day we're still here. And you know, it's not that easy, but it's a lifestyle that probably most people don't want or don't care for today. Because you got to do your thing. I mean, you got to be able to, you know, who wants to get up 7 days a week, and it's not one of those things, you know. So, but we enjoy it. We still like it, and days go fast, and yeah. So we've done pretty well here. So
It's been 104, 5 years now.
More than that, even. I remember that. It's probably so. Yeah, he came in 70, Jesus, it'd be 108 now,
Wow.
I suppose.
Wow.
Because I was going to say about 1917. So,
Mm-hmm. And you're the last neighborhood grocery store.
And there used to be a lot of them.
Right.
A lot of them.
My
And
great-grandfather owned one.
Did you? Is that right?
Yeah. What ended up being Gettle's up on East Main Street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So before he sold that, and then bought the farm out on Indian Lake Road that they have. But as you know, I live in this neighborhood just up the street, and I am so grateful for Mocols on a continuous basis. I'm grateful to have a local neighborhood grocery store.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when I come in here, it's almost like Cheers. You know, everybody knows your name, and we can chat about the local events of the day.
And we know we have a niche here, and it's not going to be, you know, we don't need to do super volume. We don't need that, and we work, you know, we're limited with what we have and what we can do and what we can sell, but we just maximize the things we do have, and that's kind of what you do. I mean, and if you can call someone by name, you know, I mean, I know you even look at, like, I get a charge sometimes. You go to the bank or something, or you go here or there, and they'll look at you and they'll go, hello, Mike. Well, I don't have to look at your credit card to know your name.
Right.
You know, I can after a while we'll talk, and that's what I like about here. You can get a chance to talk to people, find out exactly where they're going, and that is, I mean, I always say I don't need cable TV, because I mean, people will tell me about anything, you know. I mean, sometimes you get, and you hear this stuff and you kind of go, I don't know, but they want to run it off somebody. And the way things are today, they don't have that opportunity.
And you've had gone through generations of people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like just like you've been, like your
Yeah.
family's been here generations. You serve generations of people
Sure,
in the
and that's what's
neighborhood,
interesting
right?
too. I mean, you see, and people get a genuine charge out of that. They go, okay, you know, I was here when I was a kid, and now I'm sending my kid down here with $2 and he can buy something. And so it's just kind of rite of passage with them. And they know it's safe and they know it's, and we try to keep, you know, even the neighborhood, we try to look out the window and make sure that things are safe. And if you hear things, you let people know about it. And people need contact. They need socialization, and they're just not getting it today. And it's sad in a lot of ways. They want people to.
It's exactly what we're trying to do with the Woven Record. We're trying to help rebuild community by getting people these connections and trying to have them recognize places like Mocols where you can have that connection.
Right. You need socialization. People need that. And I just watching a video this morning of this doctor, and he was talking about longevity, and he says one of the biggest problems is people they don't have friendships anymore, and they don't have people that they can just walk up to and say hello or wave to somebody. You know, everybody, you know, they walk by them and they just and they don't know anybody, and I don't know that I even want a community like that. And if they don't know you, and you're just a number, and and everything we do today is like that. You know, I mean, you get on your phone and you put your credit card in there, and they bring stuff to your house, and you don't even see anything. And you know, I mean, it's kind of.
Would you even recommend this? Like, do you see a way that neighborhood grocery stores could make a resurgence? Or what are what are the challenges with that?
I think it would be awful difficult today. I think there is. I mean, if you look though, I mean, you got mega stores, but you know, people's lifestyles are changing too. They want, you know, something fast, and they want. But I mean, it's possible, but you'd have to have the total right circumstances to do it, I suppose. I mean, we've got a good niche, I think, too, and we've gone on over in the past, you know, with meats, and so we do a lot of these meat trays at clubs, and we do a lot of, you know, some restaurants, ground beef in the morning. We're grinding meat for half the day, it seems like, once you start out. And I think it was last Friday, everybody, these clubs are up for some reason, all had meat raffles, and so we put those. I mean, and that's kind of a Midwest thing too. I don't think they have that anywhere else.
You are known for your meat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I always give people give me a hard time.
Right.
With that. Yeah.
Right. And Greg says it's these people come up from Iowa for this
we
kind of
get
pizza.
Some of that.
So.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of interesting with the internet and stuff. You know, they'll Google it, and we've had people come up. We've got a special kind of frozen pizzas that people were looking for. It's like, oh, and so we had people coming in, especially when the marathon was on. People were coming in with some lady she's from New York City, and they're interesting to talk to because it's like, you know, but you know, and you just don't see that too much, or the East, or they were coming from. I mean, it was kind of interesting because there was a lot of different people coming from all over, and how they find us, I don't know, but they come in and they'll. You know, they're in a whole different state of mind, I think, when they come in our store. People just want to, and they know they can come in and talk about anything. And you kind of engage them a little because we do have the time to do that, which is good. You know, you get so many people that just look at. So I talked to these people from New York City, and before they left, I said, "Hey, come on, give me one of these." Hey, you know, and they just laughed, and they said something like, "Well." Says, hey, well, why don't you give me one of those you betcha things, you know, that kind of thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that just are looking for a little something different. And we kind of like to talk about like that, you know, or whatever they got going. And
Well, what would you like people to know that are watching this about Mocols
Well, we've been here a long time, and and I think we've learned a lot over the years where we're at and what we're doing. And like I said, we're not going to be everything to everybody, and we just want to maintain decent prices and you know, be fair to people, and that's served us well over the years. And you know, and if you go on and you know, where you go on from here, I don't know. People always ask us where you going. We're all getting older, but I always just tell them, I've got nieces, nephews, and all that, and they want to have any part of this. They know where we're at, but they get their careers going. One's a doctor, one is this, one is that, and they, So I mean, no one forced us to be here, and after a while, when you're younger, you kind of go, wow, I wish I could be like those other kids. But no, I had to run home and help Grandpa at the store. But after a while, you learn that this isn't a bad lifestyle. And, I mean, a lot of people, people coming to your door all the time, I think you'd get a charge out of that, And I can, and people say, well, how about, you don't seem to have a lot of free time. Well, we don't. But if you go, sometimes I'll walk by, like on a Sunday night, we close early on Sundays, and walk down by the river and stuff, and I'll see people down there, and they'll be down there fishing or something. Hey, George, what's up? How you doing? And I kind of get it. You get a nice feeling about that. Or you go to the ball game and kids are pointing at you or something like that. So it's not, so it's kind of nice that they recognize you and they have a good feeling about what you do. And so, yeah. And there's, it's kind of aggravating sometimes. You go down by the river, there's some people you don't want to see, kind of, they're drinking their beer and they say, hey, how about this? Well, I'll catch you later there, but yeah. So,
do you have any relatives who are coming up?
We do, but the interest just doesn't seem to be there, and I understand that. So we'll have to watch where that all takes us. But I always kind of look at it and you go, you got to do what you got to, do it the next day, get up, do it the next day, but I still like it. I still do, and it's hard for sometimes people to understand. Don't you get sick of it? Well, every job or everything you get sick of.
Absolutely.
Because after a while, especially you get older, and it's like, well, I've seen this all before, but I mean, there's always new people coming in, and there's always different people, and the word of mouth we get is really good too. So that's kind of, we don't, it's not like we're after everybody. We just, if you want, and coming up here, we've got, every year we do these, cut out Christmas cookies. And so we're starting to work on that now. And people have been calling on that. It's already the 1st of November or 4th of November. And people are, oh, come on, when do we get these cut out? Okay, so we got those in cold storage.
They're in the freezer right now.
We got them in cold storage and we're working on that. So, so people come in and I hear that all year long. Hey, why don't we get those cookies? It's like, well, that's December. We'll do that in December, guys.
Well, and you have that. I was going to bring that up. You have some things that are kind of special and known to you, like the cookies. You have the the hot dogs that you have.
Yeah, we do that. And there's a lot of things like that we have the ability to. Over the years, you develop relationships with suppliers, and there's, and that we always kind of had that, and that was kind of nice because they can find different things, and that's what you want to do too. Is we want to find sometimes different things that people will come out of their way for sometimes, because we know we're not like that people are just going to stop in here and but they actually want things, so we try to and it's kind of hard sometimes because you'll have things where you come in and you go in, you'll have them for 3-4 months and people love it, and then all of a sudden we can't get them now, and and even pandemic was kind of the same way with COVID and all that. I mean, we had the ability to get things that just because we developed relationships with people over the years. And so we get on the phone and call them and say, hey, we're having trouble. Well, we'll see what we can do. And,
And I would say that's probably one of the toughest things for anybody wanting to get into the business now is you have to establish all those
You have to source it. You have to source stuff. And that's awful tough today. How to find things and because I mean, there's limited manufacturers today, and there's limited, I mean, you think about it, it really is. I mean, today you got, a handful of retailers really that are controlling probably about 80% of the market today. You've got Amazon, which is, a lot of people don't realize that they're the number one retailer in the world, actually, and Walmart and Costco and just a handful really, Target maybe, or a few, but not a lot today anymore. So, I mean, everything is locked up and everything is and that's a lot of businesses are like that, where it's not, there's not a lot of competitors in it, but the ones that are there are huge. So yeah. So.
And I'm guessing that's one of the reasons the New Yorkers and such came here, because in New York they still have the little corner market or the bodegas. Or
yeah, and you can find that in St. Paul too. Actually, there's still some there, but yeah, I suppose they wanted to come out of their way and just see what's going. And that's how they kind of get a feeling for the community too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really go someplace and you got to, if they're looking to, maybe I want to just explore things, especially when they come around. Especially when they come to Mankato, I think. It's like they come for the marathon or they come for the powwow or something like that. And they just want to walk around and kind of explore things. So they go down into Old Town or they get on their phone and they come up here and talk about things. And, you don't have that too often. You don't get that. People want someone in your face and tell me now exactly what's this community about. I don't want to see this thing on the internet. That anyone can do that, have a drone flying over and no, everybody wants to know a little about the community, and that's one thing I think. Been here so long, you kind of have a good feeling about what went on and where you've been, and it's you can't tell you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been, really. So, and hopefully that we get a little of that. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, a common theme in this whole conversation is relationships with your customers, relationship with your vendors, and that's exactly what we all need. So
we do human relationships too. I mean, it's not just electronic relationships. We need human relationships, and that's hopefully that's getting a little better. I don't know. I think it is. I mean, I think people realize, especially when when the smartphones all came out, that hey, we're missing something here.
Well, I think COVID really. I don't know that people recognize like the isolation hurt them at the time, but I think it's
they survived it.
I think it's very clear that there was a scar in our society from it.
It's like we survived, but at what cost?
And for some of us, there's a new appreciation of having those relationships where you can trust somebody. You can go, sure, it's late at night, but I need something, and well, let's go down to Mocols and get what we need.
Yeah, and that's what I think we all want. We all like to do that, And I so many people, even like when I'm outside, they'll wave and how you doing, and that's a good thing. Even if you don't talk to somebody, if you just acknowledge them.
Yeah,
that's what I always say. If you don't, do whatever, say whatever you want. I've heard it all before. Say whatever you want. Call me this, call me that. Give me whatever gesture you do. I don't know, but at least acknowledge me, And I think people want to be acknowledged, want to be somebody, and whether it be just a small way, So.
Yeah, I'll tell you, not only did I enjoy that steak, but my dog really liked it. There wasn't a lot of fat on there, but George told me about the importance of marbling, and I'll tell you, it was a tender cut of meat, but I cut off the edge fat and shared that with my dog, Frankie. So she became part of the neighborhood connection, just like me.
Right, and if you gave Frankie bones, the Mocols will save you some bones.
As a matter of fact, they have some products, some meat dog bones. I bought one huge for $3.99, and Frankie's been chewing on that ever since I got it for her. So those are the great things. You can go in there, you know where to find things. You might pay a little bit more, but that's okay because you're supporting a neighborhood business, and the sense of community that you get from that is something you won't find at the franchise grocery store.
No, and they'll watch out for you, and you have that personal connection. And if you forget your money, sometimes you can get things because they know you'll come back. But don't tell them I said that.
Yeah, and don't push it, because they have to pay their bills too. So make sure that you take your wallet with you when you go in.
Don't be like me.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about community on this edition, and that's really what the Woven Record is all about. And we want to hear your stories. So if you know of something in your area that you want to record and find out if it's something that we're interested in, you can email us at journalist@wovenrecordmedia.com, and we can check out coming to get that story for you. Or if you want to suggest it to us, just write to us at stories at wovenrecordmedia.com. It's all right below us in the description, and we can figure out how to get out there, or we can walk you through the process. You know, we started with pretty much our phones, and we found some great equipment online to purchase, and it's easy to do. You just need a little instruction, and then you can become part of the Woven Record family.
Yeah, and there's stories everywhere. Anything you're interested in, you're like, hey, how does that work? Or I'm interested in what that person's doing. Maybe, you know, they'll tell the story. Do it. Just connect with your community and check us out on thewovenrecord.com. That's our online website. In addition to our YouTube channel, again, that's all in the description below.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. You might, you know, you walk in there, they talk to you right off the bat, and we're so used to having cameras in our faces now. It's so easy to just sit down and say, would you like to tell me your story, and set it down on a tripod, or, I mean, we got one of our cameras here on a chair. So,
and when the way the interview with Ryan happened, it was just, we were in the bookstore, we were looking around, we heard him talking with another customer, and then we started chatting, and then I was like, if you're up for it, I would love to interview you. And I just held the camera while we chatted, which may show up in how it was filmed, but we're real. We're not fancy, high priced.
And certainly not AI.
No, it's not AI.
It's real intelligence, and that's the kind of stories we want to tell here at the Woven Record.
So join us and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we think you'll like it here.